started moving, and it looks like he's seen something. Morning, Andrew. How are you doing? Morning, folks. How are you doing? Just going to try and position the vehicle so that the other vehicles behind us can also see. I wonder what it is that he heard in the bushes to our left. Just having a look now to see, but it's very, very thick here, so I can't tell exactly what it could be. And a small scent mark there.
I got quarantined the other one.
Exactly. And this is a beautiful big male leopard, folks. If it is your first time joining, we've got very lucky here. And Andrew is kindly offering me to go up ahead, so I'll take this opportunity. Thanks, Andrew. To stay in pole position, but we will try and leapfrog to give everybody a good view of this animal as he patrols his territory. Dylan in Iowa, good morning and welcome. Dylan's interested to know whether leopards follow the same walking patterns daily, and certainly not, Dylan, not daily. And they do have paths that they may be more likely to take than others, but it's never guaranteed as to what they may do, which makes it tricky for us to find them. If they walk the same pathway every day, we would easily know where to find them and where to look for them, and the pathways that they take do vary. But in the same breath, they are animals of habits and occasionally will take the same pathway, but it's certainly not on a daily level. And time to relax again. In Yala Road North, not far from Buffalo's Hook Dam.
And find a shadow every time. Lay down and move. Lay down and move, lay down. So.
Is this an adult one?
Yeah, that's an older male.
Older male. Okay.
Yeah.
It's also very beautiful.
There's some elephants tromping loudly off to our east.
We do it differently. We walk a few miles and then...
Quite far away from us. I'm not sure if you would have been able to hear that audio getting picked up.
Same as us. Well, yeah, his name is Mvula. M-V-U-L-A.
Yeah,
Mvula. Yeah, Mvula.
Well, I wonder if he's going to slowly continue on to Buffalo's Hook Dam to have a drink. We're not far from there now. Probably about 2 minutes of him walking at the pace he was. But he may continue to have these small siestas along the way.
All of them are a little bit different. They are not exactly the same.
Well, yeah, the spots look the same, but the faces look different.
Yeah.
It's pattern, yeah.
And they have different territory, I think.
Aubrey, thanks again and well done.
And the females and the male, females should come and settle down on the male's territory. So the
Are they a couple of their whole life or?
Sorry, could you go again? There was interference from the game drive.
Girls sorry.
Okay.
So, but what happened? Each one of the females, they will, you know, set their own turret with the knees over it.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be bigger now.
We've just got a question through from Karen on Twitter, and she's interested to know whether this is Quarantine and Kunyuma's father. And yes, it is indeed.
Very different females.
They did see Mvula mating with Karula a few months before Quarantine and Kunyuma were born.
Yeah. But
So in all likelihood he is the father, but something that is interesting that female leopards will do is that they will sometimes mate
Each one would mark his own.
with several males within an area, and that way if those males come across her and her cubs, they will all assume that they are the father and therefore not kill the cubs. So it's a kind of insurance mechanism or strategy that female leopards will use to try and prevent their cubs being killed by fathers that did not sire them.
I cannot do nothing. We're just gonna have to wait for him.
So it may not be him, but he was seen mating in the... He was seen mating with Karula a few months before they were born, so a safe assumption can be made that he is the father. And I'm sure you can start cheering the elephants now. They seem to be coming closer towards us. Either that or their trumpeting is becoming more intense.
Very nice. Morning.
And I wonder what it is that's distressing them.
I think they must be in a Johnny there. When you saw them, they're gone. None of the guns are coming out of a two-track that's joining the Greek corner there. So I presume they must be in the thicket. So I just gave up because I have to come and follow up on that quarantine. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Maybe later on, before Kai, I'll swing past by the area that's on. I learned before when we were looking around there, somebody called in from Mvula. So we got Mvula now somewhere to go Pebble Soup Dam in Vietnam. Same to you. Thanks. Stand by, Alex. Alex, Mvula has been picked up. Yeah, between the junction, Gwari, Pan, and the Nyal North. Yeah, I would say your best approach from Pebble Soup Dam there. You headed west, southwest. Just only 2 more over now. So
Now, what is interesting to think about, and what I hope we will one day see, is
the elephant. It must be those angry elephants here.
when Mvula does come across Quarantine and Kunyuma, who are often in and about the areas where he is moving, what would actually happen?
So he's a
It's not unheard of for
he moves so much.
adult male leopards to tolerate their cubs, even when they are fully grown, still not fully mature, but fully grown in terms of body size, basically. It would be interesting to see how he reacts when he comes across them, and I'm certain he would come across them at some stage. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see
I'm not sure if Lex is going to come straight here.
Karula, Mvula and the two sons together, 4 fully grown leopards?
I know
And it is possible, the most I've ever seen together is 5.
precisely. So
It was
you're going to maybe take the
a mother, a father, and 1 2-year-old cub, and then 2 cubs from a more recent litter that were both about 4 months old. So
just approach the area.
that's the most I've ever seen together, and what a sight it was having 5 leopards walking down the road together. But there certainly will come a point in time where Mvula begins to tolerate them less and less until he eventually chases them out of the property. And that was very important, because if he didn't do that, there's a chance that he would then mate with his mothers and sisters, or his mother and sisters. So
as you drive west from the Visuk Dam there, before junction Gwari Pan junction there, you'll see him.
well, aren't we lucky that when we got here, he just decided to get up and walk around for a very short distance. Kim in Chicago, good morning. Kim is interested to know whether leopards will use animals' dung to help mask their scent, and as you can see, he is lying amongst some elephant dung now, and that is why this question has come up from Kim. So yes and no. I don't think in this situation he is doing that. He would be rubbing himself all over that elephant dung if his intentions were to try and mask his own scent. It's simply through default that the dung is in the shade in an area where he decided to lie down. But it was just a few days ago that we saw Quarantine rolling around in some buffalo dung and also licking it. So that could well be to help mask their scent, as well as also obtain some minerals and nutrients from the dung. That's why they would have been licking it and occasionally feed on it.
For me, it doesn't look like full stomach, so he might actually move into a river or go down hunting and stuff, because they also hunt during the day, if it's possible. So if it's
But I think buffalo dung is their preferred fragrance, not elephant dung.
But again, they're solitary animals. They wouldn't move in a group like you saw on elephants or buffaloes on the line.
Carol on Twitter, good morning. Carol is interested to know, what does the herbivore's poop smell like? Now, it all depends on the herbivore, as they have got different processes of digestion. Some are ruminants, which will have 4-chambered stomachs and digest their food incredibly well. And others, like the elephants, have got a very basic digestive system that doesn't digest their food very effectively. So a lot does depend on the herbivore in question, but I guess it smells no different to cow dung, which is probably a smell that most people are familiar with. And, you know, there's animals like zebra who would have very similar dung to horses. So horses and cows are probably two of the animals that most people may have smelt the poop of that you could relate to. Now, time to try and predict this leopard's future. What will it do in the next hour or so while we still broadcast? I'm hoping that he does get up and head towards Buffelshoek Dam for a drink. Arquette in Arkansas, welcome back. And Arquette is interested to know what markings I have used to determine that this is Mvula. Well, initially, when myself and Vim did find his tracks this morning, it was simply the size of his tracks that led us to believe that it was him, as well as the area in which those tracks were moving. There's typically no other large males that will move through that area, so we could kind of safely assume it was him. He also does have a funny toe that I've noticed on one of his tracks, that one toe sticks out further than it should, and therefore dwarfs the other one. So there's one of his feet has got a funny toe. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's one of his front feet, but there is one track that sticks out from the rest. Then when we looking at him, he's just a big male, far bigger than Quarantine and Konuma, and he's got a lot more character on his body and face. In terms of the exact spot pattern, I'm not even sure of his exact spot pattern, and therefore cannot answer your question very well, Arquette, but we thankfully can often rely on the viewers who know the individual spot patterns of all the animals. Doug is asking if we know of any other dominant male leopards who may come across Karula and her territory. And Tingana is one. Tingana is the male who's dominant to the west and south of us. And he's the only other dominant male that I know of in this area that could come bump into Karula. There could be others that I'm unaware of on surrounding properties. But usually what will happen is male leopards, when they're dominant, have got a far greater territory size than females. And they could often have possibly 4 or 5 females within their territory. So that's something also that's important to understand, that Karula's kind of slap bang in the middle of Mvula's territory, so there's not huge chances of her interacting with the others, but again, territories change and shift and they are not set in stone. It's not like us humans who buy a house and have a fence around it that's a clearly marked point. With animals, their properties vary in size and vary in location over time, and there is always going to be overlap. Male leopard will always overlap with other males and females with other females. I wonder if we can reposition it all. It's not looking promising. Oh, hello, boy. Yes, we have been talking about you. And we're interested to know whether you'd like to go to Buffalo's Hook Dam. It would be great. Morning, it's Scott here. Just one vehicle. Myself, he's lying up on Inyala Road North, just north of Quarry Road Junction. Copy. I'll let you know if anything changes, but for now he's lying up. Barbara in Illinois, good morning. Barbara is interested to know, where will Konuma and Quarantine find females? And That's a very difficult question to answer because they could end up very, very far from where we are now. But wherever they end up, there will be female leopards, and I'm sure they'll make great fathers. But it's an impossible question to answer. Who knows which direction they'll head in from here? They could go north, east, south, or west, and have got hundreds of kilometers or miles to roam in the Kruger National Park. And depending on their luck and what happens along the way, how many males they get chased by, whether they make it or not, will obviously determine how far they go. But impossible to say where they will end up and therefore where they would find females. Elizabeth on Twitter is interested to know how far away we are from Mvula. So VM's just going to pan out, and here we are. So not too far away, maybe about 25 feet away, maybe a bit more, but not far at all. We're in a thick area, so difficult to reposition without interfering on his siesta there, so we're just going to stay put, and hopefully he'll get up at some stage. The best access for Mvula would be to head down Inyala Road north from Buffalo's Hook Dam. Even though leopards do move predominantly at night, he will certainly move at some point during the day. When, I'm not sure, but I can guarantee you that if we were to leave now and come back at 4 o'clock this afternoon to this exact spot, he would not be here. Which now leaves us in the conundrum that we know he's going to move, but we don't know when. So do we hang around and hope that he moves in the next 45 minutes? Or do we drive off into the unknown looking for something that is moving? Nothing is guaranteed. I'm tempted to stay here for a bit longer and see what happens. Something to also bear in mind is even though he's not moving, herbivores are moving, therefore prey animals are moving, and they are heading they could be moving up towards the waterhole, which is not far from here, and they could stumble across him without him having to even move a muscle. And I've seen many kills culminate from situations like this, where you're sitting with the sleeping predator and the prey stumbles upon them. So the moral of the story is you do have to invest time with animals, whatever they are, in order to see interesting things happen. Go ahead. Yes, with pleasure. There's just one other vehicle making its way. Where are you now, Tex? Okay, perfect, yeah, because he is facing north, just lying up at the moment, but yeah, best access would be to come down Inyala Road from Buffalo's Hook Dam. What we're going to do is, and it's a suggestion from Nikki in Final Control, which is a good one, so we're just going to wait for the other vehicles to get here to make sure the sighting is handed over efficiently, and that we don't lose them. And as soon as the other vehicles get you, we can move off and come back a little bit later. Oh, it appears like he has been attacked by a flea of sorts. Thankfully he's got his elephant dung armrest there, which he used temporarily. We've just got a comment through from Dance anyway, and it's a humorous one that we should share with everyone. And Dance was saying maybe we can look for the pied kingfisher who was sitting with her kill yesterday morning, not wanting to eat it. And maybe she's still sitting there with that little fish in her beak. Okay, well, we're going to leave him to it. We'll possibly rejoin a little bit later. Leaving Texas and North Mvula still lying up, one other vehicle making their way. Now we're going to loop around on a road that will take us past where we heard the elephants trumpeting a little bit earlier, and that way we will hopefully come across them. If we don't come across them, we will continue the loop around past Buffelshoek Dam. If we don't have any luck there, we will continue, and that will take us back to where we've just left off with Mvula.